This meeting of the Carthage City Council to order. Chief, please.
Heavenly Father, together tonight, we thank you for our health and our ability to be here. We thank you for your protection over the event we hosted over the weekend. No one was injured and everything went smoothly. Father, we ask you to bless those and comfort them who may be suffering or in need, and examine our hearts tonight so that the result of our efforts will bring glory to you and you alone. In Jesus' name, I pray.
Amen.
I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, Miranda, if you'd please call roll.
Chopete.
Present.
Harrison. Here. Tejas. Thorne.
Here.
Perkins.
Here.
Snow.
Here.
Kane.
Here.
Wells.
Here.
Reddy.
Here.
All right, it's good to see everybody back. Some of you with suntans, obviously. So I know you've had a chance to take a look at the minutes from our previous meeting. I would entertain a motion to approve those minutes.
I make a motion to approve those minutes as written.
Thank you.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to approve the minutes of the July 28 meeting. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Minutes are approved. All right, presentations and proclamations. We have one this evening. As all of you know, Ray West has decided to move closer to Miranda. I'm not sure why he would decide that, but he did.
I wasn't sure, I didn't know.
But we want to say thanks so much for your time with us, and on behalf of the council themselves, we want to present this. We expect this to be prominently displayed in the corporate.
It will be.
So, thanks a lot, Ray.
Thank you.
And you're welcome.
Okay, short speech. City of Carthage is in good hands with all of you folks. Every one of you, I know, makes every decision you make with the best intention of the city in mind. And I appreciate that very much. And I'll see y'all sometime. I'll be around.
Ray, do you know who your council members are?
Yes,
Okay, just checking.
I got their phone number.
All right, we will now move on to public comments. Anyone wishing to address the council, please step to the microphone, state your name and address, and limit yourself to 5 minutes.
Well, maybe before Ray gets out, but he was the liaison for Kellogg Lake Board, and he did a superb job. He brought information and interest into that position, and we do appreciate what he did. Looking forward to the next one.
Thanks, Jackie. Anyone else wishing to address the council? All right, then we will start moving on to reports of standing committees. Budget Ways and Means, Alan.
Thank you, Your Honor. Budget Ways and Means Committee met last night here in council chambers. We had several items on our agenda. The first item was accepting a grant for the taxi program. That's on tonight's agenda, Council Bill 2645. Next item we had was we discussed a budget adjustment for fiscal year 25 and 26. You remember we did a budget adjustment at the last council meeting, and this time we have Council Bill 2646 and Resolution 2128. Council Bill 2646 includes both the resolution we passed last time and this resolution, and then Resolution 2128 covers the other portion of that council bill. The last item we discussed was our tax levy for fiscal year 26. We forwarded no change to our levy from the 2025 tax levy, and that's on the agenda tonight, Council Bill 2647. We currently sales tax revenues, I'm sure Ms. Cox will report on that, but sales tax revenues are up year over year, and our use tax is up year over year. Our next meeting, right now, we are trying to decide or figure out a date to have our next month's meeting. The regular meeting would fall during our MML conference, so we're looking for a new date for that, and we'll let everyone know by the next council meeting. That's all, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you. Committee on Insurance Audit and Claims, Ron.
Yes, Your Honor. We met this afternoon here in Chambers. First of all, we reviewed the claims and approved them. They'll be on the claims report tonight. Under new business, we had a consideration to discuss changes to the overtime and compensatory time policy in the personnel policy manual. And that'll be on Council Bill 2648 tonight. We also discussed in the Freeman Early Detection Screening for employees. This is mainly for employees 40 and over, correct, Tracy? 40 and up
Yes,
initially,
based on availability.
based on availability. There's 5 different detections that'll be available, and it's $140 per screening, and it will be covered by the $5,000 that we're getting back from the insurance company. So I need a voice vote to approve the
Just make a motion,
acceptance.
Your Honor. Make a motion.
Okay, I make a motion that we approve the Freeman's Early Detection Screening and Can Save Lives
Second.
deal tonight.
Okay, I have a motion and a second to approve the Freeman Early Detection Screening System for city employees. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. All right, Ron?
Next, I have one more voice vote. Miranda is wanting to get her CPFO certification program, training and retention, which will move her up in her position for the city. The cost is $1,200. It's a training that she will have to go through. She has roughly 2 years to complete this training, and it'll be definitely a benefit to the city. So I make a motion that we approve the CPFO certification program training and retention agreement with Miranda. Deal. Together.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second to approve Miranda's attendance at the Certified Public Financial Officers course,
Correct.
and the city will pay for it. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. All right,
That's all, Your Honor.
all right, thank you. Public Safety, David.
We're currently between meetings. Our next meeting will be Monday, the 17th at 5:30 here in Chamber.
Okay, thank you. Public Services, Beth.
Yes, we're between meetings as well, and I know that Richard will be speaking about, in his update, the pool and some other things this evening.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. And Public Works, Juan.
So Public Works was scheduled to have a meeting last week, but a few of us were out, including myself, I guess, there. So currently they are between meetings, and I think our next meeting is scheduled for next month. Is it the 1st? Does that sound about right? The 1st? At 5:30 here in Council Chambers.
Okay, thank you. All right, now we'll entertain reports from special committees and board liaisons. Who would like to go first? David?
The library board met this evening prior to this. Their new parking lot has got its pavement and striping done, so their new east parking lot is ready to use. The green spaces are waiting to be done till later this fall when the weather gets a little better. Let's see here, had a couple other things. Sorry, I lost the notes. They've had a very busy summer down at the library, lots of activities going on. They'd had roughly 1,000 people in through the summer over all the different things they've done through the year, or through the summertime. Their audit is coming up November 3rd. They don't expect any problems on that. Schmidt & Associates takes care of that for them. They received a couple of payments off trust funds. One they weren't expecting, so that was a nice little bonus for them. September the 4th, the library will be closed. They're having a professional development day, so on September the 4th, there will be no library open to the public. On October 22nd, they're hosting a regional professional development day for local libraries, and they'll have about 50 people here in Carthage for that day. And they're bringing back Arthur's for the holidays for November 21st. I guess that was very popular in the past, so it's back for this year. And that's all of my report.
Okay, thank you. Other reports? Beth?
So I have two reports this evening. The Vision Carthage will have their monthly board meeting on the 19th of this month, and they're working on getting a lot of cooperation from Parks and Rec about trying to work in this dreaded heat on keeping our beautiful flowers alive in the watering. So I know that they have mentioned that they're really appreciative of that. I just came from the Downtown Merchants meeting, and our soon-to-be hopefully presiding Commissioner Lane Roberts attended the meeting and spent probably about 40 minutes with them, and I think that was a time well spent in terms of his expectations, in terms of increasing communication, and he said he would really, knows that our mayor has attended the commissioner meetings, and as is Ron, and very much appreciates that, and he said he would like to do the same, to come to our meetings, and I said he's certainly welcome. So yeah, so it was a good meeting.
Okay, thank you. Other reports? Jack?
CWEP is between meetings, so the next meeting will be a week from Thursday, 3 o'clock.
Okay, thank you. Any other? Robin?
Yes, Your Honor, Planning, Zoning, and Historic Preservation met August 3rd here in council chambers. On the consideration for that meeting, there was a certificate of appropriateness for the property 116 through 118 West 4th Street. This motion passed. The prior meeting, it was tabled due to the individual not being present. There was a little discussion regarding that the individual had raised questions as to whether that committee could require that, if that was in the guidelines of that committee. So that will probably be a topic that that committee will tackle in the future. There was also a certificate of appropriateness for exterior work at 141 Grant Street, which also passed. And a certificate of appropriateness at 416 Lion Street, which also passed. And there was a review of the current and proposed historic district guidelines again. And there were some changes discussed, and as well subsequent consideration for the final draft. So hopefully that will be coming out soon. It's been a long work in progress. The next meeting is scheduled for Thursday, September 10th at 5:30 p.m. here in council chambers.
Okay, thank you. Any other reports, board liaison or special committees? All right, moving on. Come down to my report this time. First of all, since our last meeting, I had a chance to get down to the visitor center, the Boots Visitor Center, for our solar car challenge, which was coming in. For those of you who had a chance to see it, this is the one of the nationwide traveling of solar-powered vehicles, and they spent the night essentially in Central Park, or not Central Park, Municipal Park, I'm sorry, in parking in Municipal Hall, and then took off, or Memorial Hall rather, took off the next day. So it was pretty interesting. They are very protective of those vehicles. If you got within distance, they started to shy you away and shoo you away and treat you like the pest that you probably were going to be if you had gotten too close. So, but that was interesting. We did have a tree board meeting at Kellogg Lake, and Jackie probably already knows this, but the tree board met at Kellogg Lake because as Jack remembers, the tree board has essentially the directive from Missouri with regard to the removal of ash trees. And we have a large number of ash trees at Kellogg Lake, and the tree board want to get out there to take a look at them, meet, and start conversations. They're going to set up a joint session with the Kellogg Lake Committee, because we're going to have to figure out, because it makes no sense to do too much out there until we figure out what we're doing out there from a Kellogg Lake perspective as well. So that is continuing on, and we'll work through on that. We obviously had an election, as everyone knows. Haven't had a mayor's meeting or session since the election, so I'd be curious to see what the results will be in terms of particularly the reaction to the sales or the income tax reduction, which, as you know, I report a couple times. The mayors started out very much against it, kind of halfway came back, and I'm not sure how many of them will be happy or not happy, but I'll let you know once we get that. And then, of course, in addition to that election, hats off to the Nazarene Church, because not only were they handling the election out there, at the same time, simultaneously, they were hosting our Marion Days command post, and it was interesting to watch them deconflict all that. And the Nazarene Church has done a great job helping us out there, and I know we've been out there, I think Chad told me 4 years now, so that's continuing to work well. Marion Days itself, I'm sure many of you had a chance to get out there. I got out there almost every day, and it was just like every other Marion Day, just about. Weather, once again, was smiled on them and worked out well, and they left just a little bit of trash, but they were getting taken care of, most of it, except the stuff out behind Ron's, which he was going to take care of himself, he reported the other day. So, but it was good to have them here, and they moved on out. We continue to have conversation. I had a conversation this morning again with the Carthage Fire District folks, and that board was having a meeting this morning. I spoke with Bill Lasley, who is the attorney representing them. We at some point are going to have to come to, I think we're on track. We are going to come up with a new contract arrangement with them at some point in the future. The contract they've got was written in 1987, while the fire department, quite honestly, was still part of CWEP. So it probably needs a little updating, and we'll work on that, as well as the regular cost recovery that we're seeking there. So we're moving in that direction, and I feel comfortable that those things are moving forward. Obviously, we said goodbye to Ray tonight. We have a Ward 2 opening. For those of you that follow the city, you've seen we've already posted that vacancy on the city website. We'll leave it open there for a couple of weeks before I start going into a full recruiting mode. But having said that, I would ask all of you, if you know a Ward 2 resident that you think would be a great council member, encourage them to come, call Miranda, call me, ask questions, and talk to Ray or any of the other council members to see if they might be interested in serving, because we will be trying to fill that seat as soon as possible. And that completes my reports for this evening, so we'll now move on to reports of council members, and we're going to start, David, with you.
All right. The solar cars were very interesting. Zane and I went down when they were coming into Memorial Hall setting up, and we made the mistake of walking on the wrong side of some of the pylons, and we were immediately told we were in the wrong spot. So, but we got some cool pictures. They really enjoyed it. We saw some cars actually pulling in, so he got to see them moving and not just static. Marion Days was awesome. Went out every day, ate lots of food, visited with people. So other than that, I have nothing else right now.
Okay. Jack.
I read that there were 12 states that have been hacked their utilities, particularly water. Some of them were down not very long, some a little bit later. So I want to give a big shout out to Jason Peterson, who's our IT guy at CWEP, to prevent this hacking, because I don't understand where it's coming from or whatever, but it not only includes water, but it could take our grid down, etc. But he's on top of it. He gives a really detailed report during the meeting, and I just want to say thanks, Jason, for keeping us safe.
Okay, thank you. Alan.
So I was able to go out to Marion Days a couple times, and I know that all the departments in the city have a very integral part in helping with Marion Days, but I would particularly like to thank the police and fire department. I was able to, one of the days I was out there, go on a little ride around or ride about with Chief Deininger, and the professionalism and the presence that our police department has out there, and the people that are attending recognize and know that our police and fire department will help them with whatever, whenever they need any assistance, whether it's while we were driving around, someone had found a credit card. Stopped chief, gave him the credit card, asked directions, different things. So I just want to thank the police and fire department for their professionalism and their work that they do to make Marion Days what it is every year. I know a lot of planning, a lot of hours go into that. And again, I just want to thank them for what they do. That's all I have tonight, Your Honor.
Thank you. Beth?
Okay, well, I left the day after our last meeting, and I just got home last night. And yes, I told the mayor I do have a pair of Mickey Mouse ears from my Disney cruise with the granddaughters. I missed Marion Days, but I convinced my husband to go on 2-lane roads all the way back from our trip, and I looked for town squares and courthouses, and we still shine above and beyond really anything I've seen. A lot of people in communities with businesses on these local squares, we really look very good in relation to what we're seeing. So sometimes it really pays to get out and see what else is going on and really appreciate, what we have here. So that's all this evening.
Thank you. Ron?
Yes, Your Honor. I was down there the morning that the solar cars took off right there by Brahms, and it was very interesting to watch those guys, and some of them had 2 passengers in them, and some of them had just 1. Part I thought was funny is it took 2 gas vehicles to take care of each one of those solar cars going, so I wonder what that cost was. It's amazing, the colleges, because each one of those cars that I seen were from a different college that those kids are working on and trying to represent. So that was very interesting, and it was really fun to watch them take off there, and they had to get a gas-powered vehicle in front of them and another gas-powered vehicle behind them, and I know that's because of safety and what have you, so that was interesting. Marion Days, that's in my backyard, literally in my backyard. I have a couple and their brother and sister that I fence off a certain part of my backyard for them to park there so that they can just walk across over to the Nazarene Church and on into Marion Days every year. And no charge either. They just get to park there for free. I know there's a lot of people that takes donations, but I won't allow them to give me anything. And but it did look like it went off really well this year, as usual. I didn't hear a complaint from my individual down the street about one-way, 2-way traffic. I'll be waiting to hear that one again, but anyway, there was plenty of parking this year. I don't think it was as many here this year that it was last year. I think it was over 100,000 last year, but they were anticipating about 80,000 or 85 this year. But anyway, and yes, I did have a little trash I had to clean up, which is very unusual because those people, Sunday morning, by Sunday afternoon, that whole area is almost spotless. Even my son driving in town, he says because he works at Schreiber's, and when he went home, he said, man, I seen all this stuff out there and I was expecting to see it the next morning when I come in, because he works the weekends. Come in, he said, man, they were all piled up and already in the trash containers and what have you being rolled off. So the fathers out there always see that it's really cleaned up quickly. And there's always really nice food out there if you're into the Oriental and what have you. Me and the wife go over there once in a while and have some of their food. That's all, Your Honor.
Okay. Susan?
Where the Marion Days is in his backyard, it's in my front yard. So, but I just always appreciate, it is a lot of crowded and parking, it covers our street and everything, but they're always very courteous about not blocking driveways and not trying to, park up in your yard or whatever like that. But I didn't get a chance to go to Marion Days as we had company in town, but I'm not a big fan of Asian food anyway. So anyway, but everybody's always real courteous, and I know I appreciate what the police and fire also do and how much work they put into it. That's all I've got.
Okay, thank you. Juan?
Beth, I'm in the same boat as you. I just got back, so I was off for a few weeks, but I was keeping track of all you guys. So thank you guys for doing a good job while some of us were gone. I was very disappointed though that I did miss Marion Days. I think this is the first time I've missed it. I can't remember if I've ever missed it. I don't think I've ever missed it, but I am a fan of Asian food, and all my family is. I think my sister goes every day, if not twice a day. So she did my part this year. But I did look at the postings that you guys were doing online as a city and then different organizations. So it looked like Marion Days went great. So thanks to all the city staff that helped put that together and make it a success. And then also the solar power car. I'm disappointed that I missed that as well, but I was able to live it through our posting. So everyone that did post about that, thank you. It looked great. I'm disappointed that I wasn't there to see it, but it looked like it was real neat. Glad to be back home. That's about all I got.
Okay, thank you. Rob?
Yes, I have actually a couple of things, if you don't mind, Your Honor. One, I wanted to thank all of the city departments and employees who had a hand in Marion Days. It's organized chaos, and I don't know how you do it, but I appreciate it because I enjoy going every year, and this year as well. Also, just as a note, I'm not sure anybody who went, I hope that you paid attention to all of the electric scooters that were all over town, even though we don't have line this year. So I just wanted to throw that out there. They were everywhere. And then lastly, I wrote this down because I wanted to make sure that I got it correctly. I wanted to take a moment and recognize and thank our police department for the exceptional work that they did in responding to a recent violent crime in our community. Their efforts to quickly identify, locate, and apprehend the suspect are a testament to the dedication of the officers who worked this case. I also want to recognize the role that Flock played in the law enforcement location and apprehension of the individual involved. I'm thankful that our community had this resource available when it was needed. This technology helped police officers do their jobs and ultimately helped get a potentially dangerous individual off the streets, and for that I am thankful.
Thank you. All right, we'll now move on to reports officers city. Jason, we'll start with you. All right.
Kind of covered the fire board. I'm working on a little bit of a draft for a hydrant policy for the city. We got a lot of things going on right now, but not complete. So Marion Days. We're ready to take a look at it.
Okay. Before we start with Chad's report, I want everyone to know that he was the runner-up at Marion Days for the best legs contest. Yeah, that's the good news. The bad news, he was the runner-up to the entire police and fire departments who came in ahead of him. All right, Chad, your report.
I'll start off with saying, as I'm walking out that morning, that my man crease became social media worthy. I told my wife, I'm like, these are really long. And she's like, oh, just cuff them. I said, no, I'll just go with them long. And we see the result. I will say, I did think that post was kind of funny. It did make me laugh when I saw it because he wasn't wrong. So a little bit of information on Marion Days. These aren't exact numbers because so much goes on that we do try to keep track the best we can. We had 393 CAT events, and these are events where officers will be out with some type of something that is worthy of notating in our CAT system. 393, 48 of those were traffic stops in the grounds area or on the roadways around it. That averages every 31 minutes for 8 days. We had some type of event happening. And it could be minor all the way up to something more major. We made 8 arrests. 5 of those were DWI. One of them, somebody had a warrant, somebody was revoked, and then 2 individuals we took cocaine off of, and 1 individual we took meth off of. We had a traffic counter sitting there. You guys probably saw the speed sign. And it, throughout those 8 days, there was 26,664 vehicles that traveled by that sign. And you can see by the day, as Saturday approached us, it just got more and more and more every day. But that's kind of the numbers on that. I do think, after watching, I made the comment several times throughout the event, I usually kind of start grossing my numbers, like how big is this event, based off mass. And when mass starts on Thursday, I kind of take a mental note throughout the years of how far into Grand Street it gets. This is probably the largest I've seen in the last 7 years, as far as that number out on the Grand Street, which usually kind of tells me how big the event actually is. We did see lots of scooters. We had a couple of incidents involving scooters on the ground. Most of them were kids on kids. We did have an elderly lady on a scooter of some sort fall off of it, hit her head. She had some serious injuries resulting in that, but it wasn't a collision. It was her just falling off of it. Lots of medical calls. However, our supervisors are very diligent on making sure our officers are staying hydrated, getting breaks. We had one individual that I would say she probably had a little bit of a heat issue. We immediately got her some medical attention, and luckily it was kind of towards the end of her shift anyway, so she was right back over the next day. It was smooth. I credit everybody involved, the Nazarene Church. I can't thank them enough for what they do. They go above and beyond. Every department in the city has a hand in this. And I think it gets better every year. Public Works, they have really stepped up the last several years and took a huge load off of the police department as far as putting things where they need to be and helping us navigate all those people. So it is a well-oiled machine. I stress every year about an incident happening, and I thank God every time that it doesn't. But so I want to thank the citizens that were around. I mean, I took very few complaints this year from the people that live around there. The fathers know kind of the rules, and they abided by them, and we really didn't have many issues. That's all I have tonight.
Okay, thank you. Richard?
Okay, Parks and Recreation staff, the full-time staff is fully staffed. Too many staffs there in that sentence, but we've got everybody on board now for the first time in a long time. So that means we've got new eyes on different projects, a lot of training going on, and it's a fresh start for most of the administrative department side. So I look forward to you guys meeting Shayla and Roy. They'll always be around, and they'll get to know each of you individually as time goes by. The crew's out working diligently in the heat, mowing and trash. Like the chiefs both said, we've been real cognizant of the heat factor, and so we've got Gatorade, we've got water, and we even have popsicles, just giving them anything we can to make sure they don't get overheated. But it's a constant battle. They're also repairing some of the playground units, just yearly maintenance stuff, and doing a good job with that. Regarding the pool, I hope you all saw the press release that came out, I think it was Monday morning, and that kind of tells you where we're at. I don't want to just reread it to everybody because everybody was here for the vote last time, so they know that Landmark Aquatic is currently in the middle of doing an electrical and aquatic survey that will include costs, and so that should be here within 60 to 90 days from the start of this month. Let's see. Oh, the flowers. They were talking. Somebody mentioned earlier. We are trying to keep up with the flowers. It is a struggle, and so the staff has volunteered to adjust their schedules. So we now have watering on the flowers around the square and in the parks 7 days a week. And so it's not any overtime or extended time, they just readjust their schedules for early in the morning, because that's when they'd rather do it too, and that's when it's best for the flowers. So if you see some of my crew out on Sunday morning, don't be surprised. I'm not making them do it, they volunteered. And so they're really trying to take pride in those flowers and how the city square looks. So that's all I have, Your Honor.
They told me they're just trying to avoid Sally's wrath that the flowers died, so, which is
She's
probably
not-
a noble.
She's not here, so I'm not going to comment.
Josiah?
Yeah, so I just want to give a shout out to all the departments. Marion Days, I never heard anything negative whatsoever, and I know I got back into town. I was kind of like Warren and Beth. I was out of town for the week, but get back town and check in with the guys and get the report from them, and they said everything went as smooth as could be. So really proud to hear that. Where do I start, and how much do I even want to give you guys? So I am we're participating in a hazard mitigation planning effort that Jasper County is doing right now. So we've been pumping a ton of information, and I sent it off a couple weeks ago and thought I was done, and then I got an email today with a questionnaire thing that's digital. So now I'm like, I don't know, even more. But anyway, we'll plug all that information in them to kind of work through that together. Our grader is gone, and the new grader will be here at 8 a.m. in the morning. And we've got the check from the city, and we'll be cutting the check tomorrow for the new one, and hopefully kick back about $60,000 into the revenues or the budgets anyway. Code enforcement efforts, the guys have, right now is crazy because it seems like everybody's trying to sneak away and get that last minute vacation out. But as soon as everybody gets back in-house and stuff, the efforts are going to be focusing back in the initial target area. And we're going to be canvassing through that area once again to kind of maybe kind of check on some of those properties that maybe did not comply as most of them did. So we'll be canvassing back through that. As we're doing that, we do plan to continue to move into the next target area as well. So we'll continue south along Garrison Avenue and keep working that as we're working the other back into the mix. Also, I did want to make a notice to everybody. Jason Schote with CWP reached out to me and said basically they're going to have a crew in town here in the next few weeks that's going to be doing some leak detection for the water lines and stuff, just kind of go through and canvass throughout town to just check it's basically just something you need to do to keep your infrastructure up. So looking for any type of leaks or anything with the system. I'm not exactly sure how that works, but I'm not sure the process, but I just know that if you see a silver truck with a purple stripe down it, you'll know what they're doing. They're here intentionally working for Water and Electric. So also have a meeting Thursday with Cochran Engineering for the downtown sidewalk extension. We're getting really close to getting that project ready to go out for bid this fall, and just going over some outstanding design challenges and working through some of those to get everything finalized on that. And then the other mention is finally heard back from MoDOT on the revision of the scope of project for the HH sidewalk project that we had. They did get that back to us, so we'll see that in the next Public Works meeting, and that will require an ordinance to go into that agreement with them. And that's all I have.
Okay, thank you. Tracy?
Thank you, Your Honor. Sales tax revenues for the month of August came in, as reported earlier, higher than they have for the same month last year. For the month of August, they came in at $267,278. Year to date, it's $531,917, or 3% higher than the same time frame last year. Use tax was also up for the month of August. It was $135,720. That was up almost 5% from the same month last year. Year to date, we're up almost 15% than the same time frame last fiscal year. That we are up $32,692 for the current fiscal year. As Richard was stating, the park is fully staffed, and finally, they've got a lot of projects moving forward, and I've been working with Roy on some of his projects that he's going to oversee. And if you haven't met Roy yet, he does have a great vision and experience in handling projects. And he's working on getting bids for the playground equipment. He's also working on bids for installation of the lights at the walking trail at Fair Acres. He's working on rate structures for Memorial Hall. And I believe Richard and Chad are working on trying to get some new tires and working on he calls it a dog and human water fountain at the walking trail. So things are really moving fast and going forward at the park department. And I know that Richard's glad to have all of the help finally. Also, thank your staff for stepping up and making sure that the flowers stay watered. They are definitely beautiful on the square. So that's great that we don't want them to die again. We're also, Josiah and I have been working with Will Klein to schedule a meeting for next week to discuss our best steps to move forward on the bridge projects and the grant programs. I will get information out to the bridge committee once that meeting is scheduled. And that's all I have tonight.
Okay, thank you. John?
Nothing tonight, no.
All right, we'll now move on to report of claims presented against the city. Miranda?
The Committee on Claims filed a report in the amount of $2,833,090.76.
Your Honor, I make a motion we approve the claims as being presented.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to approve the claims as presented. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. All right, moving on, we have no public hearings this evening, so we'll move on to old business. Miranda, first council bill.
The second reading of Council Bill 2644, an ordinance to amend Section 204 probationary period of the Personnel Policy Manual of the City of Carthage, Missouri.
Any discussion?
Your Honor, this basically is making to where all employees are under a 12-month probation period. That way it's same across all departments.
Okay. Any other discussion? Cast your vote. Council bill is adopted. That concludes our old business and move on to new business. First council bill, Miranda.
So the council bill that is in your packet is not the same one that came out of budget last night. We did make a couple of changes and I put the printed one on your desk. So this is the first reading of Council Bill 2645, an ordinance to authorize the mayor to accept state financial assistance in the amount of $5,271.05 on behalf of the City of Carthage and to execute any contracts resulting from such application for any grants between the City of Carthage and the Missouri Highways and Transportation Commission, providing for capital, operating, and/or marketing assistance for commission-approved transit projects.
Any discussion? Alan?
So this grant is, I guess you'd call it a subsidy or addition to the big grant we're gonna get for the taxi. The big grant is gonna be somewhere in the $80,000 range. This $5,000 is some additional funds that the state came up with that they are awarding us as a grant. But even with this additional $5,000 and the $80,000 that we're gonna be getting with the bigger grant, it doesn't cover our total expenses of operating that fund. So obviously anything that we can get is gonna help offset that, but we're still operating that taxi at about a $35,000 deficit. So I just want to say this is going to help a little bit, but it still isn't getting us up to where we need to be on covering the cost of that operation.
Okay, thank you. Any other discussion? Next council bill.
The first reading of Council Bill 2646, an ordinance amending the annual operating and capital budget of the City of Carthage for fiscal year 2025-2026 for specified funds, the General Fund, Golf Fund, Capital Improvement Tax Fund, and the South Economic Development Park Fund.
Any discussion? Alan?
So this is kind of an annual, I guess you'd call it, rollover adjustment. What we have to do is we have to go back, or I shouldn't say we, what Tracy and Miranda do is they go back and look and see were there expenses that we approved that weren't in the budget last year, and that's to add them to last year's budget because they were paid in last year's budget. And then it also is for projects that don't get 100% completed last year and roll over to this year. So this is kind of it's really an accounting cleanup. Would that be a fair term to call it, an accounting cleanup for our last year's budget to complete the year?
Let's not call it cleanup.
Yeah,
Let's call it true up.
True up. That's the word I was looking for.
Any other discussion? All right, next council bill.
The first reading of Council Bill 2647, an ordinance levying general taxes upon real property located within the City of Carthage, Jasper County, Missouri for the year 2026 for general revenue purposes and other purposes, and fixing the rates thereof.
Any discussion? Alan?
So the state mandates that we can only collect a certain amount of property taxes. So each year, based on whether the assessed value of the property goes up or the assessed value of the property goes down, we adjust our levy either up or down. This year, based on the assessed value of the property, we are not increasing our levy, which our levy is, help me out here, 0.665?
6629.
6629. I knew I didn't have all the numbers. I knew it. So the levy will be the same this year as it was last year.
Any other discussion? Yes, Jack?
Question, the assessment is based on the cost of construction or the finished product? And the reason I'm asking is this MBL said he was gonna go from 8 million to 3 million. So what is he gonna get assessed on? The cost that he said he was gonna have to spend, or the cost that he will spend?
His project is a special tax credit one. I don't know how his project's affected by our.
It's a state tax credit that he would receive. The valuation would stay the same here locally. The credits would come from the state.
No, I'm not talking about credits, I'm talking about the actual assessment.
It would be the actual valuation. It's based on the total project.
But not what he's gonna pay, but what he would have paid. In other words, he said it was gonna be 8 million. And he said if he gets whatever, it's
His
gonna go
credits.
to 3 million. So which one is it?
Well, so the 8 million is the total cost.
Right.
So that's what it will be assessed at.
Okay.
What he's actually, for lack of a better term, mortgaging is the 3 million. And the assessed value of the property isn't based on the mortgage, it's based on the value of the property and the improvements to the property.
Okay, good.
Any other discussion? All right, Miranda, next council bill.
The first reading of Council Bill 2648, an ordinance to amend Section 307 overtime and Section 308
Compensatory.
There you go. Compensatory time of the Personnel Policy Manual of the City of Carthage, Missouri.
Any discussion?
Yes, Your Honor.
Ron?
This mainly affects the police department and the fire department. Majority, it brings us in line with the Fair Labor and Standards Act, and it will provide a roughly, been reported to me, $96,674.08 of savings to the city. So that would be a great benefit there. And that's all I got there.
All right, any other discussion? Alan?
So our police and fire, the overtime policy was different than the other departments in the city. This is bringing it in line with the other departments. It's bringing it in line with what other departments in the area are already doing. Sometime, I don't know when, years ago, police and fire, because they do work different shifts, were given a different overtime policy. This is bringing it in line with the Fair Labor Act, as Ron said. So I think it will be good that we have everything uniform across the city.
Okay, thank you. Any other discussion? All right. We'll move on now to mayor's appointments. Miranda?
This is just to add, Mariella to the Kellogg Lake Board as their liaison, since Ray has left.
I'll make a motion, we accept the mayor's appointment.
Second.
I have a motion, a second, to accept the appointment of Mariella to the Kellogg Lake Board as liaison position. Any discussion? Beth?
Just a question, is Mariella is just who is?
I'm sorry?
Mariella. Oh, I'm sorry.
She's our board.
Okay, excuse me. I've been gone
She's
too
not
long.
here this evening, but
Okay,
she's a-
all right, understand. I was just thinking last name and I wasn't thinking, so thank
Okay.
you. Beg your pardon.
Any other discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Appointment's approved. All right, now move on to resolutions.
Resolution 2128, a resolution authorizing a supplemental budget adjustment to the General Revenue Fund and Golf Fund for fiscal year 2025-2026.
Any discussion? Alan?
I move we adopt Resolution 2128.
Second.
I have a motion, a second, to adopt Resolution 2128. Any other discussion? Alan?
Again, this is just part of our budget adjustments have to go through a resolution and then through a council bill. This is just part of that council bill that we heard earlier. This resolution adds a couple of other things to that council bill that we hadn't previously approved last meeting, I believe it was.
Okay, thank you. Any other discussion? Cast your vote. Resolution is adopted. All right, we'll now move on to closing comments. I'll start this evening. First of all, I see Ray has already left, but I would encourage all of you, if you get a chance to see him out there, to thank him once again for his service. It's hard to lose him. Again, as you heard me say earlier, we've got an open seat, so I solicit all of your assistance in recruiting and identify someone that you would like me to approach for a potential council seat. And finally, I would caution everyone, I think everybody knows, good news is Chad got his air conditioner fixed. Bad news is it's going to be 100 degrees for the rest of this week, and my understanding is a good portion next week. So we need to be sensitive to the heat. Obviously, the department heads, for those folks that are outside working, hydration, the normal precautions are certainly appropriate. So having said that, we'll now move on to closing comments from council members. We'll start with you, Robin.
I wasn't expecting it. I don't have anything this evening, Your Honor. I think I've said enough, so thank you.
Okay. Juan?
I was already impressed, even though I wasn't here with Marion Days, after Chad gave his report, with the amount of people that it sounds like. You said it was the biggest in 7 years. Thanks to everyone involved. It's never good to have anything bad, but if the numbers are that big and that's all we had, that means you guys are doing a good job. You guys are doing a great job. Not a good job, great. So I was already impressed. I was more impressed after your report. So thanks again for everything you guys do. That's really all I have.
Okay. David?
Nothing further, thanks.
Jack?
Well, I think it's sad that we lost sage advice with Ray West leaving. You can't replace history, you can't replace memory. Ray didn't say a lot, but when he did say something, it was very pointed. So I'm gonna miss him. And the other thing, personally, if you notice, I let my hair grow, I'm gonna look like Jimmy Swaggart. That's all.
Alan?
Thank you, Your Honor. I have a few things tonight. First off, I don't know if everyone saw the Vision Carthage post, but the flowers around the square were donated by Kurt over at Joplin Greenhouse. He donated those flowers that have made a huge difference in the appearance of the planters around the square. So I want to send a thank you to Kurt over at Joplin Greenhouse for that donation. Secondly, you know, the weather's hot and everybody is hot this time of year, but you know what this hot weather has in store for us? The start of football season. And our Carthage Tigers, I don't know if anybody's seen, but our Carthage Tigers have, I believe, 18 seniors this year, which is huge for a high school football team. Some of the polls and statewide polls have us ranked 15th, or some of them, I believe, maybe even a little bit higher. So the hot weather we can bear because it means football season is less than a month away. So I look forward to that. And lastly, you know, every election we have, every city election, Mickey Mouse usually gets a couple votes in every ward in the city. And now that Beth has Mickey Mouse ears, perhaps we could get Mickey Mouse appointed to serve in Ward 2, if he lives there. I don't know, I'm not saying that he does, but perhaps he does, and we could get him those ears from Beth and have Mickey Mouse fill the empty chair over there. That's all, Your Honor.
Beth?
Well, I will ask my granddaughter with her inside baseball with Mickey Mouse to see if he wants to move to Carthage. So, and I cannot unsee the new hairdo, Jack, so. And Ray will be missed, and I'm sorry I blanked on Mariella. I guess I went way too far away on vacation. I do think all the city departments, especially in this heat, have stepped up, whether it was Marion Days or other things, to make happen and keep our city humming, and it really doesn't go unnoticed. I think a lot of people appreciate it and hopefully do not take it for granted. We also, I don't think this happened before last council meeting, but we got quite a write-up with Route 66 in the New York Times by a young guy coming through here on a motorcycle, I believe, with Boots Court and with the Pancake Hut and the band.
Bandbox.
The bandbox, which I knew as a little girl. And on a lot of the websites, or excuse me, the Facebook and social media, there is a lot of play and discussion and contributions about Carthage on the Mother Road, and I just think it's something, again, we can all be proud of.
Nice.
Yeah, so well done, and again, thanks for everything on Marion Days, because I went on the tour last year, and I just to really think about the number of people here, and to have it all managed as well as it is, and without any incident. I mean, we are very fortunate, and it speaks to an extraordinary capacity for a town our size to be able to do that. Is quite incredible. So thank you.
All right, Ron?
Yes, if you're ever up here early in the morning on the square, the group is pulling a little truck with a great big, probably 100-gallon water tank, water in those flowers and those plants. So they're working very hard at trying to take care of that. Second, I had an individual on social media tell me this was my job in checking things out, and I checked out with both the mayor and Tracy a reference, since Robin brought up about flock cameras. They had a big deal on Fox News about the pros and cons of that again this morning. I have mixed feelings about the privacy, but you know what? We don't even have privacy in our own homes if you're not knowing how to use your phones or what have you. There was over 2 million individuals, criminals caught due to the flock cameras across the nation. So you're just gonna have to look, and this is to the citizens watching online and what have you, you're gonna have to look at what your privacy and what your safety concerns are. You wanna have safety, or do you wanna have privacy? I like knowing that we're pretty safe here in Carthage, and I'm glad they used the flocks for whatever procedures they did catching the individual. The one we do have in town belongs to the state. It does not belong to the city of Carthage. But it's still there for the safety of all those individuals living here and what have you. That's all I got to say, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you. Susan?
Isn't the one flock camera that we have the one that we were trying to get the grant on, vote on that?
No, there were gonna be additional flock cameras that they were gonna grant us, or we would be able to purchase with the grant from, was it a Blue Shield grant? Yes, sir. Right, and the council elected not to do that. Fortunately, we were able to repurpose the grant money for something else, were we not?
Routers.
Right, for the routers, so.
Yeah.
All right,
But no, there's different flock cameras,
okay. And am I supposed to read this?
yes.
Okay.
Unless you've got other comments, you've got closing comments.
I'll just do this.
Okay.
According to section 610.021, the agenda includes the possibility of a vote to close part of the meeting to discuss leasing, purchase, or sale of real estate by a public governmental body where public knowledge of the transaction might adversely affect the legal consideration therefore.
Second.
I have a motion, a second to go into closed session. Any other discussion? Roll call vote?
Gepetto,
Present.
Harrison,
Or yes.
Thorne,
Yes.
Perkins.
Present.
Yes.
Snow.
Yes.
Kane.
Yes.
Wells.
Yes.
Ready.
Yes.
All right, it's now 19:32. We'll be upstairs at 19:37.
No.
Oh, well.
President.
I'll call the city council back into open session.
We are all here.
Miranda's ready to go.
Yes, Alan.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Have a motion, a second, adjourn, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? We are adjourned. Hey, Beth, if you could hang around and Jack, if you could hang around just a second and